Well, yeah. So it's all right. Well, the government shutdown is presumably about to end. So that's something. The way I'm looking at this is like you have to think, when were the Republicans actually going to start to, I guess, hear out the Democrats, come to the table, reach some sort of terms, even just negotiate with the Democratic base overall. Uh, you know, we don't know. We don't know. Like, when is Thanksgiving? I mean, okay. So, 27th, 17 days. Would they have negotiated within the next 17 days? I don't know. I honestly would say probably not. I I don't know. I Yeah, that's tough. I'm just not sure. I think like fighting for the ACA tax subsidies is a noble goal. I mean, we can look at how many people 22 million people. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking people that are going to be hurt a lot by these subsidies going away. I got to imagine some significant percentage of them are going to be priced out of their ACA plans. Um, I don't know how we'd go about it calculating that, but yeah, that's rough. That's tough. And then we have how many? 3 million federal employees going without pay is also something in this equation. Let me open up Obsidian. Because, like, my gut's telling me that this probably wasn't quite the time, but it was fast approaching when something needed to happen. I so in the Discord talking like, yeah, I don't think you can keep the shutdown over or through Thanksgiving. So sometime within the next 17 days, shit probably was going to come to a head. Yeah, I don't know. We can October 1st shutdown. Jesus Christ. It's been a couple days, huh? uh, okay, so the shutdown. So sorry, let me just open up the small camera here. So the shutdown equation. Can I collapse this? Collapse, thank you. So the equation to keep in mind is for or open. You've got federal workers being unpaid, so that's about 3 million people, which is a lot of fucking people. And then SNAP recipients currently in a fight against the Trump admin, which yeah, that's definitely a strong consideration. Open, keep, closed. 22 million ACA tax credit recipients, and I think the average average savings ACA tax credit. Like, if you really want to take the emotion out of it. Premium payments would more than double. So, yeah, having your tax credit, having your healthcare costs double. Oh, that's fucking tough. Okay, so according to KFF, which is, I feel like I should, the Knowles found, is that it? Man, I feel so callous to like break it down into like some sort of math equation. I just don't know what else you can do. I don't know how you weigh harm now versus harm later, invisible harm versus invisible harm. Because, federal workers not being paid, flights being delayed, people missing Thanksgiving is a lot more visible. And that's a lot of pain now. I don't know. There's a lot of weights and balances that you have to account for when you're looking at whether or not ending this shutdown was the right move, and what was the potential gain. Was there a an El Dorado, a world where the ACA tax credits are saved, SNAP is saved? Like, I don't know. So, premium payments in 2026, yeah, so it'll increase quite significantly. It's by what? I don't want to do that math in my head. $1,016. So, okay, you're going to have 22 million people paying an average of don't worry, Oberfell will be heard after the Fifth Circuit rules on their Oberfell-related play. Bleh. Well, likely here's. Alright, can you translate that to English for me? As you can probably imagine, my brain is a little bit elsewhere. uh. Okay, so for the SNAP recipients, it's like, means they have a case that serves as a vehicle to overturn Obergefell, and the lack of denial message implies the dissenters who want to revisit it already know that they're going to get what they want. Oh, Lord. I thought I saw a thing that said the Supreme Court wasn't going to hear it. I guess not. Or the Supreme Court said they weren't, and then this is just another route that they'll take to get there. Not sure. So, I mean, how long was the SNAP emergency chest? 2027? Alright, well that's a ways away. It's not that far away, but... How long was SNAP funded for? I suppose it's state by state. So, that's tough to say how long it would have kept going, but... yeah, I don't know. I'm quite torn on this, a lot more than probably most Dems. I know people are calling for primaries, calling for this is the worst thing. I'm very torn. I'm very torn. The majority of the court doesn't like that case. Will jump at being able to revisit it. Maybe. I'm not following it that closely. Fuck. Well, we can watch what the Democrats had to say on it before we watch Joe Biden. Oh, man.
That would be drafted by the Democrats concerning health care and the ACA. That is a big step, because otherwise there's no way for the minority to get a bill onto the floor of the U.S. Senate. It has to be through the office of the majority leader. So that was a major step.
Always. Remember, legislation doesn't matter. The court controls the law and makes the law. No point in paying attention to bills if the court has the finals. I hear you. So, yeah.
To get the majority leader to agree to make that commitment tonight on the Senate floor. So
the part of the deal for ending the shutdown is that there will be a vote. There's a verbal commitment to vote on the ACA tax credits. I guess the thinking behind this would be, if it's actually put to a vote, 1-for-1, single issue, will Republicans actually vote against ACA tax credits? It would be a bad look if they did. I don't think it's tough to say. I would imagine they'd come up with some excuse, and they're probably going to try and get their messaging together on it. Like, claim some sort of fraud in the tax credits, claim that they're going to replace it with something better. Well, they're not, obviously, because they don't have a fucking plan for anything. They just hate Obama, and thus Obamacare. But, We'll see.
The sum is we are closer to the possibility of work on the ACA tax credits for the people of this country than we were yesterday and than we were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or a month ago. So this agreement tonight.
Well, why don't they just fix the system? Yeah, okay. The problem is our insurance-based system is very complex. So it's not something you could just fix. I mean, you could allow competition across states. You could allow transparency with pricing. You can like kick out PBMs and allow people to negotiate more directly, like insurance companies to be more direct with pharmaceutical companies. If anything, the credits don't adjust to inflation means that. Yeah, but them eventually rising slowly is a lot different than them all of a sudden being dropped. Come on, that's of all the arguments. That's not a very strong one. Is that, well, eventually inflation will price out the subsidies anyways. They were never meant to be permanent. They were meant to be replaced by something better. Yeah, okay, but that's still $1,000 a month for a lot of people. Like, the average save, yeah, it's a lot of fucking money. Even if it's not as extreme as it was, it's still keeping a lot of people within the price range for the healthcare. Like, I don't know. I don't find it very compelling to argue that inflation was going to eventually take it away. Like that's true, but I don't know. I don't think that addresses the now very much.
Is a win for the American people. And it's a win for those people that are so insistent that I'm hearing from all the time, protect our health care. Our judgment is the best way to do that is to get a bill on the floor. Is there a guarantee it will pass? No. Is it a guarantee it will pass in the House? There is actually some very strong interest in the House, a possibility of a bipartisan bill and to get a discharge petition, and then perhaps we're on the way. And we have that expression from Republican senators who are interested in working on a bill that will deal with the ACA issue and perhaps additional health care issues at the same time.
Okay, senators. So he said senators willing to
working on a bill, and we have that expression from Republican senators who are interested in working on a bill.
Interested in working
that will
on
deal with
a
the
bill.
ACA issue and perhaps additional health care issues at the same time. So what happened tonight?
That's not a very strong commitment, to be frank. Like, that's fine. I think it's probably good to have a single issue vote on the ACA tax credits, which are immensely popular. Do you want to talk 80-20 issues? Okay, ACA tax credit polling. Yeah, so the shutdown's technically not ended, but the cloture was reached, which means the filibuster is broken, and so now it just needs a simple majority, so it's gonna pass. Yeah, dude, like, again, I'm all for opening up, fixing the insurance, as in letting, like, competition happen. I wholeheartedly agree. I think Medicaid, Medicare should be able to negotiate. Like, I don't disagree with you here. And I don't disagree that inflation was eventually going to become a bigger issue. But as it stands today, these tax credits were keeping tens of millions of people on insurance. Like, the alternative is no insurance. Which is really fucking bad. But I agree with you. More competition, more negotiating power. Like, yes, and yeah, regulation against price gouging. I agree with all of that. I was just saying the inflation thing wasn't a very compelling argument to me. At least not now. As it eventually, absolutely. But yeah.
Is not the closing of a chapter, it's the opening of an opportunity. What the chapter it does close is the damaging shutdown that is only getting worse, that is only going to impact more and more people, and it's an opportunity for us to...
Also, no insurance. It's not enough people off insurance. Like, if you wanted to have that dramatic shock, you would need everyone to be off insurance, which it's not happening. Okay, but getting their itemized. I mean, that one TikTok that said itemized bills probably did more damage than people on the ACA tax credits getting kicked off.
to move forward on behalf of all the people of this country on the issue of health care, but also on making the federal government function. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. At a time when families
74%.
Washington's dysfunction is making life harder for families, and the last 39 days are proof of that. A record-long government shutdown paired with record-high health insurance cost increases is not the kind of history that the American people want Congress to make. Over the last several weeks, I've heard from Granite Staters who can't afford a doubling of their health insurance costs.
I'm sure you can,
heard
but
from families
not
about
now.
the deep pain that the government shutdown has caused, made worse by a president who illegally and repeatedly chose to cut off help for families who are just trying to buy groceries. After weeks of bipartisan conversations, I voted today to reopen the government so that we can get back to the work of helping Granite Staters. This agreement funds SNAP and food assistance programs, ensures that law enforcement, air traffic controllers, and other federal workers get paid, reverses the president's recent reckless layoffs and prevents them from happening in the future, and crucially, gives Congress a clear path forward to protecting people's health care. Our work to deliver relief for families now enters an important phase. Congress has 1 month to engage in serious bipartisan negotiations to extend the Affordable Care Act's expiring tax cuts that help people afford their health insurance. And let's be really clear, part of what has been happening is the time period to make that meaningful extension of these tax cuts has been dwindling. We are getting closer and closer to the time in which families have to decide whether they can buy their health insurance or not and enroll in health insurance in this coming year. So my Democratic colleagues and I have been ready to work on this issue, on extending these tax cuts for months. With the government reopening shortly, Senate Republicans now finally have to come to the table.
This logic doesn't really make sense to me. The whole point of the filibuster and keeping the shutdown is because they were unwilling to come to the table when the government was operating normally, which, like, yeah, I don't know. Look, maybe the Republicans will prove me wrong and, come to the table and we'll all have a big song and dance and great negotiation will happen. Now that they don't need the filibuster anymore because the shutdown's ended, I imagine it leaves the zeitgeist. And if the Democrats try and end it, I will be wholeheartedly against that.
Or make no mistake, Americans will remember who stood in the way. So I urge Speaker Johnson to finally return the House of Representatives into session and quickly reopen the government. And I urge all Americans in communities red, blue, and purple to continue to speak out about the importance of affordable health care so that families across America can get that critical care that they need. Thank you.
Thank you. And I thank my colleagues for their good work. The vote tonight, and you've heard all of us talking about this, the vote tonight was crucial to open the government because too many Americans, hardworking individuals, seniors, children, were suffering. I know in Nevada, particularly that is based on a service industry, tourism and travel, we are doubly hit. Tariffs, bad policies of this administration, and the shutdown was having an impact on travel to our state and quite honestly across the country.
Yeah, so, okay. Bring Republicans to the table. Zero interest in negotiation when pressure was applied. Why would they negotiate when there's no pressure being put on them? Yeah, that's my thinking on it. I feel free to disagree.
But it wasn't just that.
I don't know if the Democrats will. I don't know.
We have federal workers
We can look into that.
that were suffering. We have TSA agents.
They're all-
We have airport controllers. And we were seeing lines to our food banks in northern Nevada. These were lines that I hadn't seen since the pandemic. And the stories were horrific. Seniors in line needing food because they couldn't get access to the food that they usually would get at the federal level. One man came
I'm sure you would love that.
and refused to say who he was because he was embarrassed and said I shouldn't be here, but he needed the food. Mothers coming to the food bank to get food for their children. My colleagues know that opening the government was key to stopping that pain. But here's the thing. We can open the government and we can still fight.
Like, I feel like the ACA tax credits are a lost issue now. No shot Johnson ever brings that vote to the floor, right? Because that's a losing issue to vote against, right? Like, no one wants to vote against it, but they're never going to bring that to the floor. They'll just say, fuck you. Like, goodbye. They'll do a lot of talk about it. They're going to say, oh, we're working on the Republican health care plan. We're working on it. We got the Americans' interests at heart. We're looking to fix Obamacare. And then you'll never see it again.
To address this looming healthcare crisis.
Holy shit, that was
It is
fast.
true. Right now, in our states and across the country, Americans are seeing higher costs, higher premiums for their Affordable Care Act. These are people that need access to health care. I have families that rely on the Affordable Care Act and these subsidies so that their children who have a rare disease can access their medication. I have small businesses who rely on the Affordable Care Act and the subsidies to help cover the costs for their employees.
Look, this is BS, I would imagine. Again, ACA, tax credits, gone. The equation that's actually going through their heads is the is the suffering now worth stopping the suffering later? In these Democrats' heads, it was no. Reasonable minds can disagree on that. I'm not 100% sure where I fall.
This is a fight that the Republicans need to understand is not just happening in Nevada, it is happening across the country in every state, including those red states. This fight tonight is, I agree with Senator Angus, is just the beginning. This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. Let me just say this. With the government open, we can focus on passing a full bipartisan budget for 2026 that starts with a minibus that will restore funding that President Trump cut.
With what, though? Like, we just handed over... When the big, beautiful bill was being negotiated, it was being negotiated between the right half and the righter half of the Republican Party. Like, it just, there was no interest in what the Democrats had to say because they didn't need our input. I would be amazed if we actually end up getting a vote on the ACA subsidies after this. I think 2026 budget negotiations are going to be between Republicans and other Republicans. Maybe. Who knows?
Delivers millions of dollars in critical funding to states like Nevada all across the country, and it, you will hear, blocks the administration from future rifts. We have an opportunity also to put Republicans on the record on the ACA. Are they committed to doing this? Are they committed? Leader Thune said he would come to the table on a health care once the government was open, and now he must follow through. If Republicans want to join us in lowering costs for working families, they have the perfect opportunity to show the American public. I expect Republicans to be at the table in the next few weeks. I expect the White House to be at the table. And if they do choose not to come to the table, they can own the disastrous premium increases that will continue to rise. They will own the fact that Americans across this country are going to lose access to health care. We were elected in the Senate to work on real solutions that help working families. It's our responsibility to work not only here amongst ourselves, but across the aisle to solve these problems for the Americans, make their lives a little bit easier. And that's what we have done tonight.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe, but again, these are more secondary issues to the main one at hand, which is the tax credits are no longer going to exist. So there's an order to things. First, it's should they exist, yes or no, and then how the details of it. Probably second. I just don't see a world where Republicans negotiate now that they don't have to.
So, hey everybody, I'm the cleanup hitter because I joined this group I joined it 48 hours ago.
Why would you say
not
that?
for lack of interest, and I got to applaud Gene Shaheen and this group because they have been having open meetings that anybody could participate in on negotiation. But I had my hands full focused on the Virginia elections until Wednesday morning, and as soon as that was over, I have now engaged with a particular purpose in mind. I knew the Democratic appropriators, led by Patty Murray, were going to do the very best job they could to get these three approach bills queued up and moved.
I mean, usually when you do a tax subsidy, part of it's part of it's received by the consumer and some of it's received by the producer or supplier. That's how all taxes and tax credits, subsidies, etc. work. For something as inelastic as healthcare, it's going to benefit the suppliers a lot more, so you probably have to do a lot more regulation about that. But right now, it is helping people, and now people are unable to, and without this, people are going to be unable to, afford their health care. We can deal with the price gouging after we deal with people being kicked off of healthcare altogether because they're priced out of it, you know? I agree that, you can't have insurance companies just eating all of the benefit. Like, you do need some of it to go to the people and really to the government. But
moving forward, a bill, for example, that has very robust SNAP funding, very robust funding for the VA. I had confidence in that. And I had confidence in these guys that they were going to get the best possible deal they could get from Republicans on the ACA. We were in a situation where SNAP recipients...
Also, the deal does have DSH funding. So that's good.
Recipients were suffering, and there was no guarantee we would ever get to an ACA solution. Now we've got robust SNAP funding and a guaranteed vote, not a guaranteed outcome, but a guaranteed vote on ACA tax credits. But I engaged on the issue that I've been talking about for a month on the floor to Senator Thune, Katie Britt, Lindsey Graham, James.
I agree with you. But, like, if you're sick, you do both. You can address the symptoms in the short term while you work on the long-term fundamental issues. I'm just saying, while we fight on, how our healthcare ought to be and what the government's role ought to be, in the meantime, we should probably make sure that most people are insured. Because uninsured people aren't just okay, this is very callous, but someone uninsured isn't just a liability to themselves. It doesn't just hurt that person. It's generally harmful to our society as a whole. Think about, if you're driving a car, if the other person doesn't have insurance, that's fucking, you're screwed. Oh, yeah. Okay. I hear you. I take your counterpoint in my analogy. I would say that it's a side effect, not necessarily making the underlying disease worse, because the fundamental underlying disease isn't changing. We're just pricing some people into the system, while most of the benefit gets eaten by insurance companies. Most of the financial benefit gets eaten by the insurance companies, or even by the hospitals and pharmaceutical companies by overcharging. The insurance companies will also be, I don't know what they come out net, but I don't know. Because ACA silver plans are tacked to an average plan in the area. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to look at the legislation around what the floors are.
James Langford, anybody who would listen to me on the Republican side, I've said what I need in Virginia, with 320,000 federal employees who live in households that probably encompass nearly 650 or 700,000 residents in my state, I need a moratorium on mischief. My Virginians have been suffering under this administration. The shutdown started on January 20. I need a moratorium on the punishing of the federal workforce. That's what I need. And so I joined this group to make sure that we could get important protections for federal employees. And what we have in this bill is the restoration of all the furloughed employees and a guarantee of their back pay, the restoration of all RIFT employees who got RIFT after October 1 with all of their back pay, and a guarantee of no RIFs. No RIFs going forward. 2 million federal workers, not just my 300,000, 2 million federal workers who are not uniform military now have a guarantee of no RIFs going forward. So they don't have to go into the holiday season with anxiety about what's going to show up on their email one morning at 5:30 a.m. That's a big win for 2 million federal employees, and added together with these other ingredients of robust appropriations bills and a guaranteed path forward to vote on fixing the ACA, that made me sign on and say, yes, we can do it.
Guarantee, it's a verbal guarantee, right? Without a scheduled vote, that you have Mitch McConnell saying, I will bring this to the floor. I have, pre-agreeing to it. It's tough. I don't think this vote's going to happen in any serious capacity.
I had a number of Republicans on the floor tonight said, we were amazed that you got that no RIF guarantee in there. And I'm glad that we did. And
they're falling for the Trump-level tactics of, wow, I'm really surprised you were able to negotiate so masterfully this one thing. You guys are really great.
We all worked so hard on it together, and I have huge respect for my colleagues who made this happen. Thanks.
Senator, you say you're fighting on the Affordable Care Act, but what do you say to your colleagues who say this isn't a fight, this is a capitulation? You're putting together, you're agreeing to a vote on a bill that it almost certainly will not become law, and you're allowing that to happen.
Well, first of all, there was, as long as the government shut down, the clear statement from Senator Thune and the Republican majority, and they control the Senate, the House, the White House.
So I'm just looking at like the levels at which the sticker price for insurance plans have risen, just to not speak out of my ass, you know. We do a little bit of a slower thing here, but we try and get things right.
Was we will not talk about health care with you. So there was no vote that we were going to get on the Affordable Care Act, premium tax credits. We have a guaranteed vote by a guaranteed date on a bill that we will write. Not that the Republicans will write, although I do think it's important for us to engage with them, because we need a bipartisan bill that we know is going to get enacted to provide the relief that Americans need. And I think there's a commitment on the part of many of our colleagues to do that.
But there's no guarantee this will become law.
There was never a guarantee that it would become law.
Well, just to follow up on that, Senator, because we understand that this vote will happen, but a vote on the extending the tax credits, it does not guarantee that it's going to happen. So how do you explain, though, to your constituents why it was worth it to? Also,
just a heads up, apparently the sticker price was slated to raise significantly now that there's going to be a smaller risk pool. So less people paying into insurance means that the people that are on the insurance are going to have to pay more. The Kaiser Family Foundation is estimating it's going to be 26% increase with the expiration of these subsidies. Whew. Goddamn. So yeah, you have these tax credits allowing for raises, and it's been like the net spend I think is 7% annually. But you also have the counter to that, which is an expanded risk pool of more people that are paying into insurance, means that the cost is spread amongst more people. The risk pool is larger. So it's like something's rotting you away. And so there is some huge underlying issue. Splitting the risk pool seems to have slowed down the issue significantly. But yeah, there needs to be some serious work on healthcare. It's just crazy that, like, why not talk about it? I don't know.
To put up this fight for so long when in the end you did not get your key demand?
Because it wasn't working. How long would it take to not get a response to say it isn't working? In other words, it's been 6 weeks. There's been the Republicans made it clear they weren't going to discuss the health care issue, the Affordable Care Act tax credits, until the shutdown was over.
That's what they said.
We tried to keep working that for 6 weeks. It didn't happen. The vote that we have, there's not a guarantee for sure.
Yeah, I feel like you would need a guarantee, though. Look, I will. If I'm proven wrong on this, I will be happy, more than happy. I have zero faith in the Republican Party to honor their verbal agreements to bringing a vote to the floor on the ACA subsidies. That is a insanely unpopular thing to vote against, which they know they want to vote against. They already cut it out. It just was less visible. Now that it's a single issue thing, they cannot bring that to the floor. I say 5% chance this promise is honored, and that 5% is literally just a hope and a dream with a 5% margin of error.
It's more of a guarantee. Here's the way I would put it.
Clip it.
As I assessed it, there was zero chance of dealing with the ACA issue as long as the shutdown
I'm clipping
continued.
it.
Now, I don't know, 50-50? But there's a lot better
50-50? Yeah, bro, sure. Yeah. Maybe.
less now than there was this morning, because nothing was happening, and there was no evidence that another week or another 2 weeks or Thanksgiving or Christmas was suddenly the Republicans were to come to us and say, oh, we want to now talk about the ACA. If they weren't going to do it by now, what's going to change in the next 2 weeks that's going to make them do it? And that was really the assessment. Again, I would say, right, as of this morning, there was a 0 chance of having a work on the ACA. Now there's a measurable chance. Will it be everything that everybody wanted? No, because we need 60 votes. And so there's going to be a negotiation. But Republicans have already started saying, well, here, if you did this or did that, maybe we can get there. So I would take a reasonable chance against no chance every day. And the other piece is, we didn't really emphasize this.
Okay, so at least according, again, to the Kaiser family surveys, the jump before and after Obamacare has been pretty stable. Like, sticker price total premiums, it's been roughly $3,000 to $4,000 a year. Annual premium for a family. In like 2005 to 2010, it's 10,880 to 13,770. That's a 5-year jump. And then from 2010 to 2015, from 13,000 to 17,000. Like, it doesn't feel like Obamacare significantly had this massive effect. Rather, that insurance premiums were just going up regardless. So
There are 3 important appropriations bills in this that would lock in SNAP for the rest of the year at a very substantial rate. Plus other benefits, veterans funding is guaranteed if we can get these 3 bills through. So there's a plus on that. And I think the odds are that we have a better chance of doing something about the ACA than we did not going into this. At some point, you have to decide, what is the best strategic step forward. And we believe that the evidence is that what we were doing wasn't working, and therefore, let's try something else.
And the real question is, why would a president of the United States pit hungry children against sick children? And that is what President Trump has done.
jeez.
I mean, this is outrageous. We can't reach agreement on government funding, so the government shuts down, and even though the law is
I don't know how to
clear
make a table.
that he could fund SNAP benefits during the shutdown, he did not. And then he also said, and by the way, I don't really care if people's health insurance premiums get so high they can't afford their care. That's on Donald Trump. My vote today was to do 2 things, both equally morally important and imperative. One is to make sure that the government is functioning so that our kids eat, so that our elderly citizens eat, so that our air traffic controllers can get some sleep and earn money, get paid while they are working, so that our veterans are protected, and continue the fight to a realistic platform to get the premium tax cuts done. And if that is not successful, then shame on the Republican Party and shame on Donald Trump.
So, oh my God, it is actually a strongly worded letter. No. Come on.
But the American people will see who stands with them on health care and who does not.
They won't bring the vote to the floor.
And that will be the platform of the next stage of the fight. I hope we can find bipartisan agreement on an extension of those premium tax credits. In New Hampshire, a couple of who are 60 years old or so, earning $85,000 a year, are seeing like a $15,000 increase in their insurance premiums. This has to get fixed. And we have about a month to do it. before the harm gets to be irreparable. And again, if the Republicans can't come to the table and do something reasonable on this and make sure that people can afford their health care and that the whole private commercial market also doesn't see skyrocketing increases, then shame on them.
What do you say to the millions of Americans who are already in the Obamacare exchanges, seeing premiums skyrocketed, who were hoping because of what you all said that they would get answers on what their premiums would be now, but have to wait weeks longer since you've decided to open the government without immediate action on the subsidies?
Well, as Senator Hassan said so well, Republicans weren't providing any commitment or even a willingness to vote or a willingness to discuss extending the premium tax credits.
This is something too. It really is. What is that coefficient? How long was it going to be? We'll never know. I don't know. My line, I think, is if it was going to be before Thanksgiving, then keep it shut down. If it was going to be after, then just open it. Try again some other time. I think. Because, I mean, the admin has shown that they have no interest in the well-being of the people so long as they get some nebulous agenda through. So it doesn't, as people with hearts and minds and that can feel for both SNAP recipients, federal workers, and ACA tax credit recipients, for everyone else, it's a difficult question. For the Trump admin, it's not even a question. It's fuck them.
We have the opportunity to do that now, and we will hold their feet to the fire.
And just quick, most of us up here in the group of 8 that voted for this tonight have voted repeatedly with the Democratic strategy of we're not opening and we want you to take action on the ACA tax credit. But after 40 days, it wasn't going to work. So here we are in a situation, and this was the reality. SNAP recipients suffering, nothing happening on ACA. The vote tonight will be full, and not just last year's, but full and robust SNAP funding for SNAP recipients and a path on the ACA. So from suffering and no path, we've now got robust benefits and a path. And that's what...
Sorry, the subsidies go to the people, they're tax... Unless we're talking about different subsidies, the tax credits are just so people can afford the existing prices that were already rising at 7% a year before the ACA was even a thought.
We tell our constituents.
Senator, if I could just ask, there's already calls now from Democrats in the House that are saying Leader Schumer should step aside, he should be replaced. The 8 of you today voting with Republicans to advance this plan to reopen the government, does that just further the divides within the Democratic Party right now?
No. When I talk to my constituents in New Hampshire, you know what they say to me? They say, why can't you all just work together to address the problems that are facing this country? We put the Senate back on a path to start doing that today, and we're going to continue.
The full healthcare deep dive is 4 months overdue.
Need to work that way.
All right, one last question.
If the president doesn't agree and the Republicans block the extension of AC subsidies, would you guys be willing to vote again against government funding in January when this funding runs out?
That's certainly an option that I think everybody will consider. Thank you all.
Bro. All right. Well, that's the rationale. I mean, we can keep the Senate floor live stream going. I mean, it doesn't really matter what's said here, right? kind of is a foregone conclusion. What pundits do we got? I'll look on Twitter, see if I can find something while we watched Job.
Well, your patience exceeds your good judgment. Thank you. Good evening. Ron, thank you for that introduction, pal. I really mean it. It makes a big difference. You know, Ben, it's good to see you, pal. How the hell you keep all your hair and I've lost all mine? You're a long-time leadership in Nebraska. You've been a friend a long time. And while he's not here tonight, I've been talking to him lately. I couldn't come to Nebraska without mentioning my buddy Bob Kerry. Bob not only won the Medal of Honor, which we all know, but
Dude,
he's a
Joe's
genuine
looking
patriot
good.
and a true and loyal friend, no matter what the circumstance. Folks, to Mayor John Ewing of Omaha, the award winners and union leaders, including Private First Class Harry Dunn, another true patriot. Another true patriot.
I'm telling you, bro, 4 more years.
Pretty good.
I swear he could do it.
But I was a pretty good football player. I was a flanker back.
4 more years.
And if I had him running in front of me, man, I could have been an All-American. I couldn't be, it's not working. I couldn't have been an All-American. But look, Precious.
The Democrats would easily clear an election if Joe Biden did a hood photo shoot. What?
You're most aptly named person I know. And Madam Chair, thank you so much for all you've done. And Governor Andy Beshear, Kentucky. Andy may have had to leave.
Hold
but,
up, let me find the pic.
I
Oh, God.
spent a lot of time with Andy when I was vice president and as president. Kentucky got the living hell kicked out of him by the weather. I mean, I've been to every part of that state working like hell just to keep it open. And I mean it sincerely. This is a guy who knows what he's doing. He does it well. And he doesn't ask whether it's a red or blue part of the state. He just gets it done.
Joe.
I tried to get a hold of Andy the other day because I heard that airplane crash.
Oh, my God.
But
What the fuck?
A lot of people really devastated in
Who makes this?
Kentucky today as well.
Jesus Christ.
He's always there. The Louisville
Fucking
airport and their families are really hurting right now. And, we're keeping all of you, all of them in our hearts and our prayers. Look, folks, it's good to be back in Nebraska.
Whoa.
And now when I'm back in Nebraska, the Democratic Party's back. The Democratic Party's back. That's not
Yes, Joe.
hyperbole. Do you see the election results? Well, I want you to know, for the longest time, Delaware didn't have a national TV station. They had to rely on Philadelphia. And when that was happening, I liked it very much because I was voted the most popular person in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. You all think I'm kidding. I'm not. I keep reminding the governor of New Jersey, Gov, that Delaware owns the high water mark of the Delaware River on the New Jersey shore. But look, folks, the fact is that we had a great night in Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, New York City, Georgia, Mississippi, even in Mississippi. Look, the American people are sending a message. They're sending a message. A message to Trump and to his crowd. And look, folks, I just want you to know, you work for us, Mr. President. We don't work for you. You work for us. Not just billionaires and millionaires. I mean it sincerely. I'm angry. You work for us.
You fucked up, Trump. Joe's angry.
Look, folks.
I love this
The fact of the matter is that, you better get the damn government open. Because, look, folks, here's the deal.
He said, damn.
This is a democracy. And the fact of the matter is that there are no kings in democracies. None.
Oh, man, I fucking love Joe.
But you act in a way that embarrasses us as a nation, quite frankly.
Ooh.
I spent most of my life in, I got a lot, I have the dubious distinction. I'm the youngest man ever elected in the history of America to the United States Senate, and I'm the oldest damn president. Ooh. It's hard to say. I feel like I'm 40, but I've turned it twice plus 3. Look, folks, I want to begin by saying thank you, because I'll be forever grateful that you made me the 46th President of the United States of America. And I'm proud of the work we've gotten done over the years. Together, we had COVID administered to 200 million vaccines we put in people. And we lost 1,500,000 people because of the incompetence of the last administration. In the first 100 days, we did that by saving millions of lives. We left no neighbor behind, no matter how poor it was. We were there with docs in place. Together, we put America back to work. We created 14 million new jobs, 600,000 of those jobs in manufacturing. You made more things in America to get more jobs created in any 4 years of any president in American history. Together, we made the largest ever investment in America's infrastructure to rebuild our roads, our bridges, our ports, our airports, our dams.
Yeah.
We connected everyone in America.
Own those accomplishments, Joe.
Everyone.
Fuck yeah.
The internet's as important today as electricity was back in Roosevelt's time. We enacted the PACT Act, the business expansion of benefits and services to toxic exposed veterans like my son in all of history. And America continued to lead the world. One of the reasons Barack asked me to be vice president was because of my background in foreign policy. Because I've had the dubious distinction, only because I've been hanging around. I know every major foreign leader since 1974.
Jesus.
But folks, we rule. We got the respect of the world, not just because of the example of our power, but the power of our example.
Ooh.
That's why the world followed us. Not a joke. When I was president, wages were up and inflation was down. More people had health care than ever before in all of American history. And one of the proudest things I did as president was cut child poverty in half in America. But now we have
Seems
a
Maryland has the solution for health care.
who's
Enlighten
deliberately
me.
making hunger worse for Americans. Today, in the United States of America, 1 in 5 children go to bed hungry every night. No, it's more than boo. It is a disgrace. It's
Whoa.
immoral.
Joe is pissed the
wrong.
fuck off.
Simply wrong. By the way, did anyone see the Halloween party Trump threw for himself and his friends? Oh, down in Mar-a-Lago. I thought it was an example of who he is. The theme of the Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago on Halloween was The Great Gatsby. On Friday...
So, like, the way you can... So, what is it, I guess?
Everyone dressed up like the rich folks they are from the War 20s, though. And on Saturday, he cut assistance to 40 million food assistance to 40 million Americans. The next day, he holds his party for the world to see, make a fool of himself. And he cuts.
Dude, Joe is actually
Food
pissed.
assistance. You can't make this stuff up. Folks, when I left the president, I knew Trump was going to take a wrecking ball of the country. But I had no idea, I have to admit, I didn't know it was going to be an actual wrecking ball. Anyone see what he's done to the east wing of the People's House, the White House?
This is just the
Perfect symbol of
greatest hits.
Trump is taking a wrecking ball not only to the People's House,
Oh, fuck. I'll try to
to the
find this tweet.
Constitution, to the rule of law, to our very democracy.
Fuck. I don't even know what I'd look up
And
to
while
find
doing
it.
this,
Okay, what is the system?
Trump at the same time can provide recently, on his own account, $40 billion line of credit to Argentina without even the government voting for it? Who in the hell does he think he is? No, I'm serious. I'm not kidding about this. You may remember when I was running the first time around, I talked about I was worried about the protection of democracy. I thought it was literally at risk. But I cannot find the money.
Okay,
That he
that's great.
owns.
What is the system that you speak of?
Way to feed all those kids. The family farms in Nebraska. Many of them are going bankrupt because Donald Trump starts this ridiculous trade war, which I hope the Supreme Court will finally step up and have some backbone and say he had no right to do it. The Republicans refuse to say there's any problem at all. There's a lot of good folks. I know these folks. I hate to admit it. I was a United States Senator for 36 years. Longer than most of you are alive.
This is the picture I was thinking of. I don't know why this gets me so good. It's just the angry Joe Biden, I think, at the bottom here. All right, back to Joe.
Now, look, he now says we are, quote, in a golden age. Not only gold is stuff he's hanging on the mantle of what
Nah, this really is just the fucking greatest hits.
But this, all kidding aside, does anyone feel like this is a golden age? But it is a golden age for the Trump family.
Utah,
Can you imagine?
DPC,
Has
Caddis.
anyone noticed how much the Trump family has made while he's been president, put in their pocket?
All right, I'm taking a look.
Reported $1.8 billion. Can you imagine if any other president in American history did that? Can you imagine what would happen?
Get him, Joe.
Because of the government shutdown, millions of families could soon be paying double what they pay for the basic health care they received under my administration. Here in Nebraska, if Trump gets his way, it's estimated that a 60-year-old couple could see their health care premium increase from $22,000 to by over $22,000 a year. That's not hyperbole. It's coming, folks. This is real. I know we say it. People go, that can't be true. Think about that. Additional $22,000 a year to get basic health insurance. And by the way, you know how many government shutdowns we had when I was president? Zero, zilch, none.
What about donkey? What? Okay, so it looks like this. I mean, it seems like a decent plan. Okay. Like, I'm just curious what the copay / premium is for this catastrophic wrap. So you basically pay a subscription fee to your doctor's office for all your basic needs, and then you have this other insurance wrap that goes around that, which covers all the potentially catastrophic things. Okay, but the deductible on that wrap is super high, so it'll keep your premiums low, but if you do get into an accident or you do need to use it, you do kind of get fucked a little bit. So that's why the the premium is low, is because you pay for a ton of the healthcare when it happens. Again, I think this is just getting a little creative around a more fundamental issue, I guess. I don't know. Healthcare's really tough. I think we just kind of have to accept that there's a lot of spend that we have to do.
During my term, we expanded health care, increased Obamacare. We made cancer research a priority. And now Trump is
lowers deductible for your doctor, but if you get into a catastrophe, it significantly raises it. So, like, for your regular day-to-day visits, not day-to-day, like, unless you're really fucking sick, you probably shouldn't be going to the doctor every day. But, yeah, for your normal non-catastrophe stuff, yes, it does lower your deductible. For a catastrophe, talking about the ACA, sure. Only CSR lowers deductible.
is cutting
Well, what's
government
the
funding for cancer research.
ACA deductible?
Folks, I know what cancer research means. Cancer hits every family, hit my family hard, just as so many of yours. With the love of my life, my oldest son, the Attorney General of the state of Delaware, who should have been the president, not me, volunteered to go to Iraq for a year. He didn't have to. Came back with stage 4 glioblastoma because he lived near the burn pit, just like those guys did in 9/11. And he died. I remember him calling me aside. I shouldn't probably say this.
Yeah, so, I mean, the CSR is on the silver plan. So your deductible is pretty low. I mean, it's not a low deductible by any means. Like, I guess I just don't have a huge frame of reference there. But depends on, I guess, silver plan, which is what most people have. Your deductible is $5,300. But as you go lower and lower in income, you get more of your deductible covered.
When he died, I lost part of my soul, and he asked to meet with me in his room, the hospital room. And he said, "Dad, look at me. We have this screwy thing we Bidens. We say, we want to make sure we really mean." He said, "Give me your word as a Biden." He said, "Dad, look at me. Look at me. I know what you're going to do, Dad. When I go, you're going to quit. You're not going to want to be engaged. But look at me, Dad. Promise me. Give me your word as a Biden. You'll stay involved. Give me your word." And I did. But guess what? There are those moments like you've had, so many of you. How many in here have lost anybody to cancer? You know. Folks, but when you get that research, the research they're doing, when they diagnose it, in my case, I just have prostate cancer. And when I finish the round of treatment, you get to ring that bell at the end of its year of treatment. Well, And thank God for the doctors and the nurses and the incredible breakthroughs we're making in cancer research. Now Trump and his Republican friends are cutting government funding for health care and making it more expensive for virtually everyone. And because of Republican budget cuts, more than 300 rural hospitals in America, including 2 right here in Nebraska, are going to shut down. They're on the chopping block. What alternative do those people have? Not like there's another one 2 miles away. Folks, I've never said this my whole career, but I think it's immoral. It's un-American. It's flat out wrong. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why in God's name are they doing this? Why? Well, I'll tell you why.
Oh,
So they
shit.
give away an additional $4 trillion in tax breaks to the benefit of the wealthiest people in America.
He's coming back for 2028. I'm calling it now.
That's $4 billion over 10 years on top of the tax break they gave the first term that put us in a hole. That's right. Not only are kids going hungry, and rural hospitals are closing, the cost of health care is skyrocketing. All because Trump wants to give people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, which I have another way of calling him, a tax cut.
Did you say Mark Zuckerberg?
We have a word back in Scranton where I was born and where I spent my summers with my grandpa and grandpa. We call this a bunch of malarkey.
Whoa.
You see,
Not the M word, Biden.
what
Holy
I
shit.
understood that Donald Trump never does understand. He will.
Is he on
And I've said this
fence? No.
before. I mean,
This is more alive than he's been in a while.
sincerely, it's not just a slogan. Wall Street, they're not bad guys, but they didn't build America. The middle class built America. And unions built the middle class. That's a fact. That's a fact. My fat grandfather finger would roll over in his grave if I walked away from unions. Let's get something clear. I handed Donald Trump, we handed Donald Trump.
Trunk?
Literally, not figuratively, literally, the strongest economy in the world at the time. The strongest in the world. 10 days before he died, I got a call from Dr. Kissinger, who I knew well. I didn't agree with him a lot of the time because of the Vietnam War. It was because I was on the Foreign Relations Committee when I was 24 years old. And he called me when I was able to convince 2 great nations to join NATO, make it even stronger. And he said, not since Napoleon has Paris not looked over their shoulder at Moscow with a sense of dread. Till you guys came along. You made it stronger. That's the first thing that this guy does. He starts to pick apart NATO. He talks about what a drag they are.
Damn. Oh, what is happening? Joe Biden using the memory of Henry Kissinger to attack. What the fuck is going on? I love this country so fucking much.
Look, we invested in America, in the American people. We invested in them.
We had the USA good ending twice, after Obama and after Biden. We just needed someone capable to carry it on. And instead we had Trump both times, and he tanks it.
Here in Nebraska, we supported countless projects, including the major renovation of Omaha's airport. Oh, well, look, it's actually quite a big deal. It's quite a big deal. And by the way, you know, the fact is that when we did that, it was the beginning of, you heard me say lots of times, if we don't lead the world, who does? That's not beating our chest. Think about it. If the United
good
States
point.
of America is not leading the free world, who leads the free world? Who? None of our NATO allies by themselves are able to do it. China?
Maybe.
Russia?
No.
Well, folks, look, this isn't the golden age. The fact of the matter is that
The battery.
it was a very, very dark moment. But you know, the fact of the matter is, we're in a situation where we had something special happen just last Tuesday. Bottom line, when we were in office, we showed up for our neighbors, regardless of their politics.
True.
Whether they're red states or blue states.
True.
My administration didn't reward some states and others based on how they voted.
True.
My administration didn't attack red states because I was president of the United States. And even the women who were vocal and when I addressed...
Remember, this is the guy that they spent 4 years calling incompetent, out of his mind. Like, I'm sorry, this is more coherent than any Trump speech I've seen in the second presidency. Joe Biden is making more sense, sounding more coherent than fucking Trump. Like, in order to be Republican, you have to close your eyes, you have to shut your ears off, you have to shut your brain off. Like, you can't look at the prices at the grocery store. You have to imagine that every retarded thing Trump does is some art of the deal bullshit as it just tanks our country off the world stage. And then you have to convince yourself that this is the bar for incompetence and that Trump doesn't meet it. Are you kidding me? Fuck that.
Just the United States Congress and terrible to us, they want to keep the programs that we had to benefit them. People can say, well, how could you do that for them? It wasn't for them. It was for the people of their states. And folks, you can't govern this nation by dividing the nation. When I was president, the biggest issue facing this nation was this. Is democracy still America's sacred cause? Not a joke. Is it? I used to teach this in college. Is it? Well, let me tell you something. The answer is yes, it has to be. But democracy is not a given. There's nothing guaranteed about democracy, even in America.
True.
We have to put in the work.
It's not
We
self-executing.
have to elect the leaders who believe in democracy,
True.
who'll stand up for it,
True.
who'll defend it, who'll protect it. But folks, this isn't just about the people we elect. Democracy is not a spectator sport.
Ooh.
It needs active participants. It needs committed individuals. And it's need people who love this country. It needs all of you badly. It really does. We've never said we have a perfect union. We have never said that as an American. We've always said we're striving to create a more perfect union. Alexis de Tocqueville said, quote, "The greatness of America lies not in its being more enlightened than any other nation, but rather in her ability to repair her faults," end of quote. That's the uniqueness of America. That's what we have to do, repair our faults. And that's what we've begun to do again on Tuesday. We began to repair her faults. America has a special advantage, unique among nations. Well, every other nation on the earth is founded on either religion or ethnicity or geography. America is the only nation in the world founded on an idea. This is literal, not figurative, an idea.
Tell him, Joe.
Powerful idea in human history. Bigger than any ocean, stronger than any army, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It's this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all that all men and women are created equal. We've never lived up to it,
Woke Biden. Hell
but we've
yeah.
never walked away from it.
Our wokest warrior.
Folks.
I love him.
Hear me say this. We're not going to walk away from it now.
Dude, I fucking miss this. How? One bad debate, and that was it. And now he's here showing that he is more competent than fucking Trump is. These lines are pretty fucking good. And more coherent. It makes sense.
Tuesday night was a good start. And yes, this is a difficult time. But we faced difficult times before. There's one thing I know about the American people. There is no quit in this country. There's no quit in America. None. We can't give up. Not when our children need us. Not when Nebraska needs us. Not when America needs us. Because the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. Always. Right here in Omaha. You guys are the blue dot, right? You know what it feels
I just listen to this. It's how much greater can we be? What can we do to improve it? We're not going to get it right now, probably, but we're going to keep striving. This kind of rhetoric is realistic. It's inspiring. Whereas Trump is, close your eyes. You have to believe that it's already the greatest it's ever been and it will ever be. I'm sorry. There's just no comparison between Biden as a leader and Trump as a quote-unquote leader. Someone has to tell you to ignore everything you see around you, everything you're feeling, all your financial hardship, to pretend that things are the best for his fucking ego, versus a person who's willing to say, I'm probably not going to get it right the first, second, or third time, but we will continue to strive to get things better and to improve them. There is no comparison.
feels like to be outnumbered. But every election, you put up the yard signs. You organize the neighbors. You show up and vote. And you make your voices heard. In the Biden family, we have an expression for that. We call it keeping the faith. My grandfather
The world
used to
owes
say
Joe
over and
Biden
over,
an
"Joey,
apology."
Keep the faith. My grandmother would respond, "No, Joey, go spread it." You have to believe the better days are ahead and make it happen. Nebraska, you know this more than most. Every farmer who plants a seed in Nebraska believes believes tomorrow's going to be better. Every one of them. Folks, I've seen a lot in my lifetime. I've served this nation in elective office for 52 years. I'm only 40, but I was 52 years. But there's one thing I know about America, and I mean this sincerely. I've traveled to over 160 nations.
Also, that's like the first flub he's made. I mean, besides Trunk. I don't know if that was intentional.
Only nation on earth who's emerged from every single crisis we faced stronger than when we entered that crisis. Every single one. Mark my
Also,
words.
listen to how positive the message is versus Trump's negative. Like, it's just, how did we, as a nation, fall for that shit?
Words.
Like, when you listen to Trump talk, do you see any vision for the future? Do you see any faith in the next day, in the next year, in the next 20 years? No, there's no vision. There's no hope. It's all things right now, have to be right now. Nothing planned for tomorrow. I'm trying to communicate this idea that I'm struggling to find the word.
We'll emerge stronger from this crisis as well. The American experiment is not going to end on our watch.
Ooh.
We'll still be that nation where
That's a hard fucking line. The American experiment is not going to end on our watch. I'm putting that one in the fucking bank. That is a really good line.
and integrity still matter. We'll still be the beacon to the world for the next century as we have for the last 250 years. We just have to remember who we are, who in God's name we are. We're the United States of America. There's never been a country like us. Scripture tells us, be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid. Folks, I know this nation. I know the American people. Here's what I know. No one, not even a president, can destroy our democracy if we stand together and fight for it. Nebraska, we can't be afraid. You have an election coming up soon. An open seat for Congress right here in Omaha. Statewide races up and down the ballot. Folks, we can't be afraid to dream big. Not small, big. We have to get back up. And we're getting back up in Nebraska and all of America in 2026. So Democrats, let's get up.
Amen.
Get up. Get up.
Amen, Joe.
It's about to change again. God bless you all. Thanks for having me here. And may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Fuck yeah, dude, get him in. 2028. I'm voting for Joe. Holy shit. It's just, yeah, it's so much more positive. A vision for the future. A belief that the next day can be better. The next year, the next decade can be better. As opposed to right now where it's everything is somehow also terrible because the Democrats, but also it's the best it's ever been. Lie, 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 lie. It's the worst. It's the worst. Evil, evil, evil. Divide, divide, divide. Versus Joe, who's just like, let's make this country better. Let's fight for all Americans. Let's move things forward. Dude, it's just incomparable how much more moral character Biden has over fucking Trump. It's just, it's night and day. Fucking A. All right, I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back. That pause camera's still fucking crazy. Okay. Well, that's the Joe Glaze segment. Oh, all right. I feel like we gotta take our medicine and watch whatever the fuck this guy's gonna say.
Finally have stepped forward to end the pain. It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that. At least some Democrats now finally appear ready to do what Republicans and President Trump and millions of hardworking American people have been asking them to do for weeks. As we said from the beginning, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. That was never right. And shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has. You study history. And so here we are. I want to remind everybody this morning of another critical point that you've heard me here repeat over and over the last several weeks. It's something that I and Leader John Thune and President Trump and every Republican leader have all said repeatedly from the beginning. We have always been open to finding solutions to reduce the oppressive costs of health care under the Unaffordable Care Act.
It's just a wedge against Obama.
We just made clear that we would not and should not ever do that. That is, negotiate as hostages. And I've also reminded you here every morning at this press conference throughout the shutdown, Republicans have not just been talking about reducing costs and fraud and abuse in so many areas and in healthcare. We've been actually passing new laws to accomplish that urgent mission for the people, and we will continue to do so. So here's where we are by way of schedule, just so you know, you're following. And if you're not at home, if you're waking up to this good news this morning, the Senate's vote late last night of 60 to 40 opens the door now. The Senate is moving forward on an amended House CR, a continuing resolution, that will reopen the government until January 30th. Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026, guaranteed back pay for all federal workers who have been made to endure these hardships over the last several weeks.
That's good.
And it also includes
I didn't know. I don't know why that was ever a question.
of 3 appropriations bills, which we're grateful to be moving through the process. That is the Military Construction Veterans Affairs bill, it's the Agriculture bill, and the Legislative Branch bill. The Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do. They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track their final vote. As you know, there are some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen. At the very moment that they do that final vote, I will call all House members to return to Washington as quickly as possible. We'll give a 36-hour formal and official notice.
Also, what is the fucking double think between I'll tell them all to return, but also they were already here working night and day, but also I'll tell them to return, but also let's have them all leave. Like, where are they?
So that we can vote as soon as possible to pass the amended CR bill and get it to the president's desk. As you all know, and he said as recently as last night, I was with him, and he told the press, he said, we want to get the government open. He's very anxious to get the government reopened and to end the Schumer shutdown. We all are. With regard to the travel challenges, I spoke yesterday at some length with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, my former colleague and good friend, and he lamented the serious situation that we have with air travel in the U.S. He's bent over backwards, as all members of the administration and the cabinet have done in all of their areas of jurisdiction, to try to keep the government working for the people and to mitigate the pain and the harm. But the problem we have with air travel is that our air traffic controllers are overworked and unpaid, and many of them have called in sick. That's a very stressful job and even more stressful.
Oh, never mind. Okay, so the DSH hospitals, which are, what are they called? Disproportionate share hospitals, basically hospitals that can't fund themselves through normal means. Is your rural hospitals, hospitals in poorer communities. That was a big sticking point, and that also wasn't in the demand. I misread. That wasn't in the concession. What did we get? We got things that they took away during the shutdown. Undone. What? Oh, that's rough. Oh, that's rough.
Exponentially when they're having trouble providing for their families. And so air travel has been...
Also, holy shit. All air traffic controllers must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. And for all those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax. What was a hoax about? Okay, whatever. Why add hoax? Okay, that just doesn't make sense. I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. For those who did nothing but complain and took time off, even though everyone knew they would be paid in full shortly in the future. Wasn't that something the Trump admin was fighting against? Was back pay for federal workers? Hold on. Let me do a quick fact check on myself here. Shortly in the future, I'm not happy with you. You didn't step up to help the USA against the fake debt. Bro, they weren't getting paid. What do you expect? It was only meant to hurt our country. Against your record, if you want to leave service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so with no payment for severance. Okay, so the Trump admin somehow, or Trump is able to say, you knew you were going to be paid in full, even though they were taking active steps against paying federal workers. Are you kidding me? They lost the block for back pay, but what the hell, man? All right, dude, this is just like evil shit. Okay, you'll be quickly replaced by true patriots. So, dude, the last administration wasted billions of dollars trying to fix antiquated. Great. Okay, so now oh my god, dude, fuck that. Actual insane shit.
Grinding to a halt in many places. And as of Sunday, nearly half of all domestic flights and U.S. flights were either canceled or delayed. And it's a very serious situation. So I'm saying that by way of reminder. I'm stating the obvious to all my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House. You need to begin right now returning to the Hill. We have to do this as quickly as possible. Now, we look forward to the government reopening this week so Congress can get back to our regular legislative session. We have a lot of business to do, as you all know, and we will be working in earnest. There'll be long days and long nights here for the foreseeable future to make up for all this lost time that was imposed upon us. I want to close with something that's important. I think it's important to say that this is genuine. I mean this sincerely. We applaud the 7 Senate Democrats and 1 independent senator who did the right thing. They decided to put principle over their personal politics. And my urgent plea of all my colleagues in the House.
I don't know. It's rough to have one side of the fucking country that has principle, or at least is willing to act on it. Dude, it's like we're not even playing the same sport. Republicans and Democrats are just not, they don't approach politics the same way.
That means every Democrat in the House is to think carefully, pray, and finally do the right thing. And help us to bring an end to the pain of the American people. This has gone on too long.
It's always should weigh on, it should be a permanent stain on Republicans' reputation that they were willing to put people through all of this pain over tax subsidies for people at the poverty line. Like, excuse me. What the fuck? A shutdown isn't unilateral. It's not one side that causes it. It's both sides that cause the shutdown. And when the shutdown is over something that's a 74% approval issue, I feel like the onus is on Republicans to listen to the will of the fucking people. Am I crazy for thinking this?
Too many people have suffered, and it's long overdue. That's the update I wanted to give you this morning. There are probably lots of questions, but I'm going to get a lot of my own questions answered later today, so stay tuned for more. Thanks so much.
This little fucking man. Dude. What a spineless fuck. Ashley has Trump's hand so far up his ass, Trump just goes like this and he repeats the fucking talking points. What is Bro doing here? What's that? I don't know who this guy is. I'm sure he is a fine dude. What's he? I love reporters so much. They do an important job. Oh, but they're so goofy to watch. Oh, man. All right, here's a tweet that's kind of, I don't know. I'm seeing it in some rounds. All right, the shutdown is a complete victory for Democrats, and it's strange that people think otherwise. Dems have Republicans in a chokehold. No thanks to Chuck Schumer. Here's the breakdown of everything Dems got for this. Voters still feel pain. The worst thing Democrats could have done in the shutdown is get what they wanted. Voters need to feel the consequences of voting for anti-governance party. If Dems keep bailing reps out, voters will just keep voting for them. So, on this point, there is a cushioning effect that Democrats give to Republican policy, where people vote for Republican policy, which is less assistance, less programs for people. But then when it comes time to feel the pain, Democrats step in to alleviate it. I feel so callous to say that people ought to feel what they vote for, but it's what they're voting for, right? Like if you want to vote against SNAP, against like healthcare, does it not stand to reason that you ought to feel that vote against it? I don't know. There's like this blinding issue that Republicans benefit so much from, is that the actual effects of their policies are so softened by Democrats who don't want to watch people suffer. But the people keep voting for these policies that hurt them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want voters to feel pain. I also don't want voters to keep voting for people that hurt them. It feels like I'm watching someone be abused. And, you're stepping and treating the wounds, but they keep going back to the abuser. It's very frustrating. And at what point do you take your hands off and just say, fine, fucking, all right, if this is what you want. All right, 1B. The win that Dems would get by securing ACA subsidies in the CR is much smaller than the loss Republicans will take from hiking people's health care costs. I don't know. Once the ACA tax credits actually expire and the people see what they voted for, yeah, I got to imagine that that's going to look real bad on the admin. I think it falls into that first point of, at a certain point, you have to accept what you voted for. All right, issue awareness and branding. Democrats raised awareness of ACA tax cuts right as open enrollment begins. People are shopping for insurance and seeing their premiums spike. Democrats also restored their brand as the pro-healthcare policy. We stand for something. I think so. I think, yeah, the Republican messaging on healthcare is pretty terrible. When you have even Megyn Kelly saying, yeah, we have nothing on healthcare. Mike Johnson has nothing on healthcare. Trump has nothing on healthcare. All right, Trump self-sabotage, committed unforced error after unforced error, demolished the White House for expensive renovations while fighting courts to block SNAP payments. Yeah, I mean, that is a crazy move to block SNAP and, directly... Presumably, the move is to make the shutdown worse, to force... I don't know, to force Democrats to capitulate? Is it... like furthering the bleeding of the American people. I feel like people see that, right? It's on every news station that the Trump admin is fighting against SNAP payments. And at a certain point, as we get further removed from the Biden presidency, how much farther is that line going to take you of, but look at all the people that are on SNAP. Like, if people, like, there was COVID. There's going to be some people that eat that up, but not everybody. I think they're slowly bleeding people that buy their bullshit and blaming everything on Biden. ACA vote in December. As part of the deal to end the shutdown, Republicans have agreed to hold a vote on ACA subsidies in December. But what if they were lying? If they don't hold a vote, Dems hammer them. This one I'm not so sure on, because if they don't vote, how many more people that were buying their excuses now aren't going to buy them then? That part I'm a little unsure on. I'm sure there's some people. I don't know if it'll be a significant enough margin to be meaningful. The CR only lasts until January. We can do another shutdown is the point that's being made. Is it better to have 2 shorter shutdowns or 1 long shutdown? That I can't say. I can't say. It would be naive of me to try and estimate and put myself in the shoes of someone getting unpaid or not being paid during 2 shorter periods versus 1 very long period. I won't pretend to know. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Why do I keep getting notifications for the same commenters again and again and again and again? I don't know. Let's do the crossword. All right. Yeah. Beginning of days. Dorm supervisors. Oh my god, what are they called? They're RAs. Thank you. Salso? Sounds from lions, roars. It's a Monday crossword. So long, amigo. Adios. Soda. Shea butter. Roman Forum. Hail seas. Is that how you complete 4? Uh-oh. Span. Toronto's province, Ontario. Legal injury, tort. Pirates stop. I don't know. Diddly squat, Zippo. Compete. Oh, vie for. Thank you. Avast? Azalea. Head rubs that receive tension. I don't know. Dude, have you ever had someone just like rub your... Yeah, it's... it's quite nice. So I don't know. 6'4", 186 pounds, and others? I have no clue. Old time anesthetic. Heroin. Seniors. Places students sit. Desks. This is not scalp massage, is it? I guess it is. Spray aerosol. Comfort in hard times is solace. R2, am not. Yep. A babysitter, often maybe a teen. Stinging a plant. There's a lot of them. Right? Putt standard, par. Instagram posting, pick. Avis, right? That's the other car rental brand. I've got Make a Whoopsie, Gaff, Absolute, Rival for short, Smirnoff, or is this Goof? Chow. What a treat. Beginning of days? Dawns. Oh, that I get it. Nettle, maybe. Ether. Stats, I guess. Top Survey House Attic. Yeah, I guess. I have no idea. Ring around the pupil. Your iris? Pure Leaf Tea Distributor? Man, I don't fucking know. Harsh cleaning agent is lye. Dial up Pioneer. I don't know. Stop filling. Cut. Eco Warrior. This is Michael Mr. Eco Man reference. Matador opponent. El Toro. Battery unit. Volt, maybe? Yeah, 9 volt. Marine apex predators would be orcas. I've got you covered. Let's go. Awards in a best boxer category? I have no clue. Second string squad, the B team. Rolls Royce. Fashion, man, I'm not gonna know a fucking fashion magazine. I wear a t-shirt and PJs to stream, man. I don't know shit about fashion. DMs, IMs, SMS, sorry. Weapons used in many duels. Pistols. Lipton? I suppose. Bit of advice, a tip. Denny's alternative, IHOP. True TSPs. Probably polio. Or to microchip your kids. No, I'm joking. Polo. Is there like a polo league? Now, I gotta imagine people still play polo, right? Polo Championships. U.S. Open Polo Championships. Argentina versus... This was a month ago? Probably copyright.
A country make it
clear. I think it was a foul, but it was right on the edge of that. You know,
seems like it'd be really bad for your back.
Clear.
Yeah.
So it was on the verge.
He had Pat beat the whole way on that play.
Wow, he did.
Great job, Andreas. JKL.
Whoa.
Now back the other direction. Here comes Sheldon. Well done, Mandaka. Oh,
Oops.
Jared looking for a whistle.
A polo player would be named Sheldon.
I went over that back shot.
Yeah, I did. Now,
The what?
Rosser gets in there. Mundaka takes it with him. Mundaka is still working the ball down the boards. Here comes Jared to put pressure on him. Now Jared is going to ride hard to get there. He'll go ahead and hit it into the wall.
6-7.
Oh, he
yeah.
scored
Jared,
for
no!
Oh.
Oh,
Tried
he
to
was
play it.
trying to hit
Tried
it
to-
into the...
Yeah, tried to play
Where's the
Lawrence and-
fucking
Oh,
net?
and hit it right
That's
into the
not
goal.
the shot he wanted.
I don't even know who we give that
Bad
to.
luck.
Here you go. Last play of the first half.
Pony goal, maybe.
That is it.
One.
Is this the goal? What is? Oh, that is the goal. Wow. Okay. 6K views. Damn. The World Championship? No. 6K views. RIP. Short spell. Probably L. Fire breathers. I'm such a I mean, Polo is kind of goofy, no? It's just funny. Also, you missed the Joe Biden glaze sesh. Blog commenter who is best ignored? Chat. Dude, I'm telling you, Biden can totally do a 2028 run. I'm telling you, man. Dude, I'm telling he was sounding pretty coherent, man. Bro's 100 years old with cancer. He joked about it. It was crazy segment. He was like, "Yeah, my son had cancer and he died. I've got prostate cancer, but who cares about that? That's not that bad." It's like, whoa, Jesus. Condo honcho? I don't fucking know. Leader with a Swiss guard detail? Who the fuck knows? Torn tendon. Saute. The Pope. What? Oh. What? Oh, motherfucker. Dude. Oh. I'm telling you, this can be reality. This can be us. Dark Brandon can rise from the ashes like a phoenix. It can happen, man. Trust me, bro. Alright, well, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. Like, yeah. Basically, the Democrats, a couple Democrats, have decided I gotta say, I'm more in line with Joe Biden than I am with Bernie. What? I'd rather have Biden, at least policy-wise, than Bernie. Yeah. Yep. I mean, if Bernie wins the primary, I'd vote for him. But when it comes to the Democratic primary, I'm going to vote for a more liberal, not necessarily Dem-Soc or Soc-Dem, whatever. Newsom voting coming? Maybe. Right now in the primary, I'd probably vote for Hegseth. Or not, Jesus, not Hegseth. Buttigieg. Oh my God. Yeah, what a fucking flub. Although, honestly, if Hegseth was the candidate against the Democrat, it would not matter at all who the Democrats ran. They could run fucking Mamdani. Holy shit. Rage bait president? What the fuck, man? Mamdani could win. Against Hegseth, yeah. In the general, nah. Like, I'm sorry. No, Mamdani could not win against, like, a Republican. The appetite for him in New York was very strong because the Overton window in New York is that far, is, like, significantly further left. Why Obama... Dude, where Obama is policy-wise and where Mamdani is policy-wise is night and day. Like, Obama is closer to, like, a Joe Biden... Far closer to a Joe Biden than he is to a... Policies clearly don't mean shit. Like, they... When people feel their policy, then it will mean shit. I get that Mamdani's rhetoric is dynamic. I do think, though, that he would scare people off in the center. And even left of center. The country is not ready for somebody that far left. Not yet. At some point in the future, probably. But the general Overton window moves so fucking slowly that Mamdani doesn't fall in the viable candidate range. For New York, absolutely. For some other major cities, probably, yeah. But for the general election, no. Idiots in Cars 313. Sure, why not? How to make pickle Pepsi at home, not again. I can't watch that fucking video. Ugh.
It's important to point out that almost all the people that I'm talking about are working. If that's the cost of being here for that period of time, it's worth it. I'm happy to lose based on that vote. And they ran ad after ad after ad during that campaign, attacking me for being the 60th vote for the Affordable Care Act. And because I survived and a couple other senators barely survived, we were able to preserve that bill, and 30 million people who would have lost their health insurance in America didn't lose their health insurance. And then the efforts in the House began to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And Mr. President, they voted, I lost count, I think it was 70 times to repeal the Affordable Care Act in the House of Representatives. At least 70 times. They never were able to do it, and the longer it was there, the more people came to see the benefits of the insurance protection, came to see the benefits of the expansion in Medicaid, came to see the benefits of at least having a little bit of comfort that they couldn't just throw you off your insurance because they felt like it. And now we have found ourselves in a debate related to the tax credits that so many Americans rely on to make the insurance just.
It's frustrating. But, well, that's what we got. That's welcome to the U.S. today. Oh yeah, Rudy Giuliani just got pardoned too. That's crazy. Christ, I cannot believe. Actually, I could totally believe it, but it's beyond parody. It's not even a joke anymore. It just sucks that the joke falls on the American people. Like, I don't know. What's going to happen is that people are going to start to feel the effects of what they voted for more than they already are. Voted for tariffs, which is a tax on people. It eats up consumer surplus only. It expands producer surplus, but it eats consumer surplus. It means you have less of the good at a higher price. Okay? People voted for that. They're unhappy with that. Voted for shutting down various government programs. People aren't enjoying that. It's what they voted for. And now it's going to be people that voted to kick others off their healthcare plans are also going to get kicked off their healthcare plans. I mean, it's a valiant effort of the Democrats to fight, but the Republicans, ideologically committed, just for this hatred of Obama, to repeal these tax credits, which is going to be to like 22 million people having their premiums double. All right? That's going to kick millions of them, some percentage, in the millions, off of their health care because they're going to get priced out of it. It's what the people voted for, I guess. I don't know, man. It's so crazy. And it's tough because what is the right move in this shutdown? I have no fucking clue. I think as long as it's messaged correctly, this can be shown to be a Democratic victory. Democrats weren't willing to hold the American people hostage longer than the Republicans. The Republicans were willing to inflict 41 days of pain on the United States to prevent the funding of tax credits for health care for people at the poverty line. As long as that message goes home, and then when people are paying double for their health care, they know who to look at, and they know who fought for it. And they know who fought to keep their premiums lower. I will see that in 2026 and 2028. There's probably some Latin term for, and thus is the will of the people. But we'll see. We'll see. Good night and good luck.